Okay, you've probably tried 5 different diets over the last 2 years and you're more confused than when you started. Don't worry, you're not alone, and here's why. When you get on social media, it's kind of like being in 15 different group chats all at the same time. You have a keto group that says, hey, carbs are evil. Then you have a paleo group who says, no, it's processed food. That's why you're gaining weight. Then you have a macro group who's like, no, it's all about just tracking. And everyone's talking at once and they're all contradicting one another. And here's the worst part. They're all kind of right, but they're all kind of wrong also. Because they're giving you tactics, not the true fundamentals of how to lose weight. It's kind of like learning how to play the piano. You're not going to start with Beethoven's Ninth Symphony first. You're just going to start with the basics. This isn't another diet trick to add to all the noise. These 7 fundamentals are like leaving all those group chats and just staying in the one that actually matters and gets you results. Now, these aren't sexy. They're not going to go viral, but they work, and they work for everyone because they're based on how your body actually functions, not on what some influencer is selling this week. Now, I guess I am selling something. I do one-on-one coaching. If you want these fundamentals, I can help you with it, but that's besides the point. You can check it out in the description below. Fundamental number 1 is making protein a priority at every meal. I want you to think of protein as your lumber. These are my kids' little Lincoln logs. You can't build a house without lumber. Doesn't matter if you have the perfect blueprint or the best tools, even if you have the most motivated construction crew. If you show up to the job with no building materials, nothing's getting built. You're just standing there with empty hands. Protein is the raw material that your body needs to build and maintain the muscle that you have. And here's what most people don't understand about losing weight. Your body doesn't care about looking good. It's in survival mode. It thinks you're starving. Plus, your body acts as a stingent accountant. And guess what? Muscle is expensive to maintain. It burns calories just sitting there. So when you're in survival mode, your body's like, let's get rid of that expensive stuff. And how much you should be eating? You should be eating anywhere from 0.8 grams to 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. Chances are you're not eating that much protein, so start at the low end, do it for a week. If you're still hungry, bump it up. Really, the max necessary is 1 gram. If you find it keeps you fuller longer, sure, you can do more than that, but at that point, it's just being burned for energy. So now let's just break down this non-negotiable. Like we just talked about, protein helps keep you full longer. And I don't know about you, the only reason I break a diet is because I get hungry. Proteins actually trigger hormones in your body saying, hey, I'm full. Like we said earlier, second, it preserves the muscle, and you need this whenever you're trying to lose weight, because when you hear people about doing crash diets and they're like, oh my gosh, I destroyed my metabolism, well, because they've lost, 20 pounds of weight, but maybe 10 pounds of that was muscle. And you don't want to do that. And the third thing, protein takes more calories to digest in your gut than it does fats or carbs. And on average, it takes about 20 to 30%. So if you have 100 calories worth of protein, 20 to 30 is going to be burned just by digesting it. Now compare this to carbs where it might be 5 or 10. So if you have 2 people each eating 2,000 calories, but one eats a majority from protein where the other does not, maybe it's just from fats and carbs, this person who eats more protein is going to be thinner even if they do everything else the same as the other person, just because it takes more energy to digest it in your body. So here's how you need to apply this. Go ahead and download the Lose It app. I always recommend it. Start tracking your macros. Not all your macros, just your protein. Just do it for a week. See how much protein you eat in a week, and then bump up that number as you go on your diet. It's as simple as that. So the macro guys are right to a point, but once you have your baseline of that first week, then keep bumping it up till you're at that 0.8 or 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. So let's move to fundamental number 2. Everyone hates this, tracking your calories. Trust me, I know it sucks so bad. It's the worst. Tracking is terrible. But this is your map. This is how you're going to get from point A to point B as efficiently and as quickly as possible. Yes, you can drive from Kansas City to Miami without a map, but if you want to get there at a certain time, you probably want to use a GPS. Once again, I recommend tracking it on the Lose It app. It is so much easier to use than MyFitnessPal. And this one fundamental is so critical. The only way people lose weight is if they are burning more calories than they're consuming. So the only reason keto works, paleo, any fad diet, whether or not they're sipping pineapple juice, or I've seen it where they've done like apple cider vinegar, doesn't matter. They're eating less than they burn every day. That's how they lose weight. But my guess is you want to lose this weight for some event. So go ahead and get your GPS, download the Lose It app today. It's $49 for the whole year. Just trust me, do it, and you're going to make progress. So how you can apply this, the very first week when you download the Lose It app, don't try to lose any weight. Just start tracking, and then you'll get used to the tracking. Then the second week, then you can start cutting. You only need to reduce your calories by 500 if you want to lose a pound of fat every single week, because 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So 500 times 7, 35, you have your pound of fat. And when you're matching this with protein and the other fundamentals I'm going to show you, it's going to be pure fat rather than, oh, I hope I'm not destroying my metabolism by destroying all my muscles. Plus, when you start tracking, it's going to make you so much more aware of what's going on. Just for an instance, I want to show you this video where it shows you Reese's. Here's 210 calories worth of Reese's, just one package. And then here is 210 calories of carrots and 210 calories of strawberries. So it just opens your eyes as far as what a calorie actually actually is. Because you can eat anything to lose weight. There was a professor out at Kansas State University. He ate nothing but Twinkies and junk food over, I can't remember the exact time frame, like 12 weeks. He ended up losing, I don't remember what it was, like 18 pounds or something. Just look it up. So it's not some special diet, it's just calorie restriction. That's how weight is lost. And it seems like it should be more complicated. And honestly, with all the fundamentals, if you just do this one, you will lose weight, but it's super critical to do all 7 because it's gonna make life a lot easier. And by the way, if you want all this laid out just in a 4-week step-by-step, tell me exactly what to do, you can see that in the description below. It's free. It's an app I've set up for you just so you are not confused in the slightest. It gives you all the 7 fundamentals that we're talking about today. Check it out in the description below. Fundamental number 3 are your steps. It's actually movement. A majority of the calories you burn all day long is just from your everyday movement. Well, I guess actually a majority is from you just living and breathing. But the next biggest chunk is NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and that's just from the steps you take, the snap of your finger, your head wiggling, all those calories add up over the day. And just think of it this way. Think of your metabolism like a fire. Most people throw a giant log at the beginning of the day, and that could be some sort of formal exercise, whether or not it's biking, running, lifting weights, where yeah, they might burn 300 calories doing those intense workouts, but then indirectly not knowing they're not doing anything the rest of the day. And that's where tracking your steps comes in. And think of your steps as just a little match. It's just a little tiny match, a little burn, but you're doing it all day long. And this compound effect all day, 8,000 steps, that could be an extra 300 to 400 calories throughout the day. And the best part is you're not exhausted from it. You go for a run, all of a sudden you could get a spike in hunger, or you come home from after a run and you don't want to move around for the rest of the day. So yeah, you might have burned 300 calories, but you just lost out on the opportunity to actually burn 600 calories throughout the day, just getting 12,000 steps in. And not being exhausted, you can go play with your kids still and still be productive. And the thing that I like about steps is when I'm moving around and I'm tracking this on my smartwatch, cleaning the house, well, I'm getting my steps in. Now, as far as what you should be aiming for, the very first week, just like with your calories, just like with tracking your protein, just monitor how much you do that first week. And then the next week, add 2,000 steps. 2,000 steps is roughly 100 calories. And think about that if you do it over 7 days, boom, that's 700 extra calories, and it doesn't exhaust you. Now, ideally, you're probably getting anywhere from 8 to 12,000 steps. 12,000 steps, that's my goal. And anything beyond 12,000 steps, well, maybe you should be going for a light jog because you're in pretty good shape at that point. I'm not knocking running. You need to do some sort of cardio to help your heart. But when you're trying to lose weight over a specific amount of time, sometimes walking is easier because it doesn't burn you out. And the goal isn't to be perfect with this. You're just trying to do more than you did the previous week while you're losing the weight. Okay, fundamental number 4 is strength training. And this really goes hand in hand with the protein priority. It already sucks enough whenever you're cutting calories on a diet, but let's not be trying to push a boulder up a hill. Where doing strength training, you're gonna keep your metabolism intact. You may even build a little bit of muscle if you're not used to working out at all. Because think of it this way, for a pound of fat and a pound of muscle, it takes 0 calories, maybe up to 3 calories to maintain a pound of fat on your body, where muscle, it takes 6 calories per pound of muscle for your body to maintain. So if you can increase your muscle, well, you're burning more calories without doing anything really. And the other major priority, once again, you're in a calorie deficit. Your body thinks you're wandering the desert somewhere, starving to death. It's like, oh my gosh, we need to save ourselves. It's starting to throw stuff off the boat because it's getting desperate. And while your muscle looks pretty, it's expensive to maintain and it's a heavy load. So it's gonna be chucked off the boat unless you do strength training, because then it's going to be sending signals to your body saying, hey, this is important, I need this, you need to keep this here, go attack the fat instead. And it really doesn't take that much in order to maintain the muscle. First off, if you're starting with a baseline of 0 no strength training, then you're really golden. You just need to go do something. But I always recommend doing 3 to 4 full body workouts every week. These should be like 30-minute sessions. And if you're doing 4 a day, well, you can do 2 upper days and 2 lower days. And if you don't know where to start, once again, I've created a complete program in an app. You can see it in the show notes. It's 4 weeks. It gives you 2 different workouts. It just takes away all the thinking that you have to do. Well, take away all the thinking, that sounds bad. But it just gives you a step-by-step plan to start losing weight today. You can check it out in the description. And if you don't want to do that, just go to Google, search 3-day, 4-day, however many days you want to work out, type in full body, and boom, you got a bunch of full body workouts. Just pick the one you like. And then whenever you're doing these workouts, just make sure every week you're doing a little bit more. So let's just say you did push-ups, for example, on a Monday, and you did 3 sets of 10 push-ups. Well, the next week, you want to do a little bit more progressive overload. So now you do 3 sets of 11 push-ups, or maybe you do 4 sets of 10 push-ups. Or maybe this time you do it with a weighted vest. You either need to add a rep, add some weight, or add a set. It's as simple as that. Okay, fundamental number 5 is stress management. I know what you're probably thinking, like, okay, yeah, What about stress? Why are we even doing this on a weight loss? Stress can trigger you to actually consume more food. I don't know about you, but when my kids are driving me crazy, especially whenever I'm trying to lose weight in a cut like last summer, bedtime routine, oh my gosh, I'd be like, I'm gonna go downstairs, I'm gonna eat every box of cookie that I can find in this house. And look, when you're on a diet, you're already gonna be stressed. So we want to alleviate it any way we can. And once again, if you're starting from nothing, you just need to do 5 minutes a day. Take a little you time. Maybe it's simply reading a book, sipping some tea at night right before bed. It could be simple journaling, something to help you de-stress, at least while you're on this diet. I really like this thing called box breathing, where you kind of breathe in for 4 seconds and then you breathe out for 4 seconds. I guess you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, then you breathe out for 4 seconds, and you do it until you feel good. And that really helps me if I'm up in the middle of the night. I do that one. And for all of you who go crazy in the car, don't do it. Do the little breathing technique. Someone cuts you off, let it be, at least while you're on this diet. Because that stress hormone that gets released is cortisol, and it's gonna be leaving extra fat around your belly. You don't want that. Once again, we're trying to make this as easy as possible. Okay, so you're doing the protein, you're tracking your calories, you're getting your steps in, doing your strength training, now you're managing your stress. So that leads us to the 6th fundamental, and this one is critical, totally overlooked. I mean, I'm bad about implementing this, and I know it's so good for me, but I want to share it with you, and that is fundamental number 6, sleep. You need to be getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. I know. I have 3 kids. No, 7 to 8, that's crazy. I did get 7 hours and 11 minutes last night, which was fantastic. But I just want you to imagine this. Have you ever walked into a grocery store, let's say Walmart, at 10 p.m.? Shelves are half empty, there's pallets everywhere, there's people running around shoving stuff on shelves. Can't find what you need because everything's everywhere at this point. Now, why is Walmart like this? Because the store needs those closed hours overnight to get everything from the back of the warehouse into the shelves. Now, because the Walmart that I go to is open 24 hours a day, they don't have those closed hours, so it has to happen during the business hours, but it's when most people are not shopping. Stay with me here. Your body works the exact same way. You need the closed hours, which is your sleep time. That's when your body's restocking everything you burned from the previous day. So those 7 to 8 hours, that is critical. Well, that's when your warehouse crew shows up to actually get the work done. While you sleep, your body's restocking critical hormones like testosterone, the stuff that builds muscle, burns fat, and gives you energy. And if you stay open all night scrolling through your phone, your body's not getting that replenishment. And here's what happens to your hunger hormones. So you got 2 special hormones, ghrelin and leptin. So the leptin hormone, that's your body's signal saying, hey, I'm full. While the ghrelin hormone is your body's signal, hey, you're hungry. Well, studies show when you only get 5 to 6 hours of sleep, your leptin decreases and your ghrelin spikes. So that's why the next day in the evening hours, you might all of a sudden be like, I am so ravenous. You're just setting yourself up for failure the next day. And remember, we are trying to make this easier. That's why we have these 7 fundamentals. Not to mention your muscles being repaired at this point in time. Muscles are not built in the gym or while you're doing some sort of strength training at home. It's at nighttime when you're sleeping. Not to mention your willpower gets depleted. You know, the next day, once again, you're gonna be stressed if you're not well slept. So it's spiking your cortisol. It's making that belly fat stay there. And then how much willpower do you have when you're not well slept? Not a whole lot. Then there's a whole other bonus. I mean, if you start going to sleep earlier in order to hit those 7 to 8 hours of sleep, I bet, when do your munchies happen? For me, 10:30, man, that's when stuff is getting crazy. My wife has to kick me out of the kitchen. No one's breaking their diet at 6:30 in the morning eating Twinkies. But you got those Twinkies at 10:30 p.m.? Yeah, I'm gonna munch on some Twinkies. So what I'm saying is, don't be like Walmart. Close your doors, do a little group huddle with your staff, and get them busy. Now, what you can do in reality, so you can track it with a smartwatch, which is an option, but it doesn't need to be even that complicated. Just figure out the time you wanna wake up. I need to wake up at 6 a.m., so I need to work back 7 to 8 hours on what time I need to go to sleep. Most people have this feature in their phone, you can find it. And some pro tips whenever it comes to just getting to sleep earlier, you can for sure just stop scrolling on your phone. I know that's a hard one. I like to do a little sleepy time tea. My wife and I have bought blackout curtains so it's super dark in our bedroom, and I turn the temperature down to 68 degrees. So having it cool in there, dark, it just gets you ready for bed. And once again, if you need help with any of this, I do provide one-on-one coaching. If you want to check it out, you can just go to donnieg.com. Okay, now we're ready for fundamental number 7, and that is consistency. You will mess up. You're gonna screw up somewhere. You're not gonna do a workout. You're gonna overeat one day. You're gonna undersleep. You're gonna not get your steps, whatever it might be. And I just wanna let you know a little secret. Everybody does this. You're not alone. The trick is to just keep going, whatever it is you need to do for the day. As long as you can get like 70%, heck, even 55% of the way there, you will lose weight over time as long as you do that daily. Now, we're always striving for 100%, but we just know realistically it's not gonna happen. So while you're on this diet, while you're following this plan, I want you to think of it like brushing your teeth. Yeah, brushing them for 2 minutes every day, twice a day, and flossing, that would be perfect. Your dentist would love you. But I know that's not a reality. Some days you don't even know where the floss went to. And then some days you might not brush for a full 2 minutes. But I bet the last few times you've gone to the dentist, you haven't had any cavities. It's just that consistency. You don't have to be perfect. You're just doing it every single day. That's what's keeping the cavities at bay, and that's what's gonna help you lose weight. And really the only thing that I can like guarantee you to help you stay consistent, and maybe I should have looked this up before the video. Anyways, there was a study done, I wanna say it was Pittsburgh University, but the group of researchers there, they created the perfect weight loss program. It was like 16 weeks long. They gave them meal plans, they gave them coaching, they gave them, I think it was like one-on-one meetings with a dietitian. Either way, anything and everything you could think of possible to complete a program, it was in here. 72% completed the program. That was great. But they're like, man, we gave them everything, but people still didn't do it. So what they did, they got that same person that went through the program, now add 3 friends to it. So there's a cohort of 4 people. That lifted the completion rate to 95%. So the biggest takeaway that you can get, if you're wanting to stay consistent and you're wanting to do this, find 3 friends to help you do this. It'll lift the odds in your favor to 95%. Now, I don't know why, I looked into this, I don't know why they didn't do just another friend, 2 friends. They went with 3 friends and it got them 95%. So go find some friends to stay consistent. And if you don't have any friends, I'll be your friend for a small weekly fee. Just kidding, but kind of not. Okay, so that's the system. If you follow this, I guarantee you're gonna lose weight. Use the Lose It app, I love it. Otherwise, I think YouTube thinks you're gonna like this video right here, and I will see you guys in the next video.